I told Braden, I said, we're due for like a really big ice storm at some point. We haven't had one since 99. But we'll see. All right. So welcome. We're going to review the Galapagos Islands and see how you guys did in your responses. So number one, according to the selection, why have the Galapagos Islands been described as a living laboratory of evolution? Well, that was your whole section, right? So what did you guys get for that one? You said A. Very good. Correct answer. Their unique biodiversity inspired Darwin's theories of how animals and plants have developed over time. And Troy, did you notice that word unique? You like honed right in on that in your sketch. So good job. Yeah. Number two, what is the effect of the metaphor? If you remember with night, when we were doing those diddle charts, those of you who participated in that, the last few, we started talking about effect. So you're going to have questions like that on the EOC, which is why we were practicing that skill. The effect of the metaphor in the sentence below from paragraph 15. To grow its economy, the government of Ecuador needs to continue to attract tourists to its crown jewel, the Galapagos. So what's the metaphor there? But what's the metaphor is what I'm asking. I'm not asking what the answer is. Not the animals, but the islands to a jewel. Okay, because remember, metaphor is a comparison, not using like, as, or than. So, Troy, you said you got C.
Yeah.
What did the rest of you get?
I put B because I thought it was comparing the animals to
But B doesn't talk about animals. Oh, because you saw the word tourist here.
Well, no, I put it like because it explains when tourists go to view the precious jewels in the Galapagos Island. So I was saying tourists go to view the animals are the jewels.
Oh, you were even extending the metaphor. Okay, gotcha. I understand. Yeah, we've got to be careful because typically there are two answers that are kind of similar. You got to choose the most correct. In this case, they didn't want you to extend that metaphor. Caitlin, what did you get for number two?
I put B too.
Okay. You put B also. Interesting.
Right?
Yes, you are correct. It compares the Galapagos to a very valuable piece of jewelry. So the three of you getting B, what happened, I think, I'm going to try to get your thinking here, is that two things. Number one, you saw the word tourist that's in the quote, and this is the only answer choice with the word tourist. And then number two, your brain was going even a step further and creating a whole other metaphor in your mind. So we got to be careful of overthinking sometimes. Don't go for an answer just because you see it in a quote or in the paragraph, okay? Just because you see a word in there. But here they ask you, basically, what is the effect of the metaphor? So basically they're asking you what the metaphor is. And when I asked you initially, you could tell me. So you could tell me that it was C, but you wrote down B. So be careful of that. Number three, in the sentence from paragraph 4, which word could replace endemic? For these types of questions, I would just go through and see what fits. In addition to hundreds of unique plant and insect species, a great variety of endemic vertebrates can be found in the region. So you have non-native, native, extinct. Well, if it's extinct, would it still be found? No. So we know we can knock that one out. Academic means like books. Is that quote even related to books? No. So we can knock these two out. So did you put non-native or native? Native. Very good. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. So far we got a 100. especially when at the beginning it says in addition to, so you want something a little bit different. How does the author structure the text? You're going to see the same question in the next piece that you're going to take a look at. So especially with the headings, that's why I was having you kind of think about what was the main thrust or the main idea of each of your sections. So, what do you think? Okay, we have 2 for D, D, and D. Very good, correct. They had that general overview, your section, the description of the animals, your 2 sections, and then the effects of increased population. So you guys really hit the nail on the head with your drawings to answer that question. What is the significance of the selection structure? In other words, why did the author choose to structure it that way? What does it help with? What does it do for the reader? Okay, we have 1D, 3Ds, 4Ds. You are correct. It explains the history of the island and the causes of many of its challenges. And Caitlin noted that word challenges there, or conflicts. Very good. Woo! On a roll. Okay, number 6. How does the author connect the ideas in the selection? So that kind of goes back to, you know, those headings that you have. Connecting the ideas. So first you had the general overview, then you have the descriptions of the animals, then you have the effects of increased population.
So I checked C, I don't know if that's right.
I'll pick C too.
I think D.
You picked B. Troy's like, I don't know, I don't want to say. What'd you pick or choose? You put D,
No, D.
B as in boy.
Oh, for number 6. Oh, A.
You put A.
Oh,
Did-
no, I put C. My bad.
Okay.
I was looking at- no, I was looking-
So how many C's do we have?
3 C's and 1 B.
3 C's and 1 B. The C's have it. Okay.
Oh,
By explaining the effects of an increased human population on the ecology of the islands. So they begin by discussing the unique animal and plant life. And then it goes into more detail about the animals, and it talks about how there are environmental challenges. But finally, it connects all of that with, okay, we have to add the human element. Yes, B is a detail given in that 3rd section. Who said B? Okay. So you were in the right section, but that detail is too specific for the question, how the author connects the ideas. Number 7, tone. What author's attitude is tone. Which group of words from the selection conveys the author's attitude about her topic? Her topic is the Galapagos Island. She feels that it's a unique place. It has some challenges. We need to preserve it. So which one do you think fit with that one the best? We have B.
I was stuck between D and D, but I did go with D.
Okay, because you have to look at the overall tone, right? Not just one little section, unless it asks you to just look at a section, but in this case, it's the whole thing. Grayson, Brady, what did you guys think?
I picked D.
You put D? Okay. Again, the problem with that is you're focusing on one section. Yes, in that section that Caitlin had, there is that. But here it says from the selection, so we have to look at it as a whole. What'd you put?
Oh, I didn't really, I like, didn't look at it good, and I had C.
Okay,
Now that I look at it, I'd rather see
Mhm.
because there's not no non-native
right,
and all that. And I guess I like skipped over that word when I was reading.
gotcha. But you make a good point. Part of what, as English 2 teachers, we're trying to get you to do is to slow down a little bit. Because you can make common mistakes like that. But once you said you went back and looked at it, you realize, well, that's not the right answer. We really recommend going back and reviewing your answers to make sure you don't make a mistake like that.
But I focused on the dwindling word
Mhm.
in the story, so I was like,
Yep, yep. B is the correct answer for number 7, okay? We have one more. How does the author achieve her purpose? Okay,
I think the,
okay, well, did she use facts?
yeah,
Okay, let's eliminate. Anecdotes is a fancy word for what? We had this early in the semester. What? No, you're thinking antidote. This is anecdote. An anecdote is a fancy word for a story. Does she give stories from people who have visited the islands? No. So we're going to knock that one out. Does she use headings?
yeah.
Okay. So maybe B or D. Descriptive language to explain difficult ideas. Is there a lot of like imagery in there? No, it's pretty factual. Okay. It sounds like an essay or maybe an encyclopedia article, Wikipedia article. So we're down between B and D. And Troy, you said something that was good there. You said, but that doesn't achieve her purpose. What do you think her purpose is?
I understand these, because she uses, mostly uses facts for them.
But what do you think her purpose is?
Just talking about the
So,
island.
yeah, tell you about more about what the island is, why we keep going there.
Why we should go there? Why is it unique? So you could use headings for anything, right? But using those facts to support her ideas, D is the correct answer there. Okay.
You only missed one, what was your score again?
That's what I'm getting, that's why I'm pulling out the phone.
Oh,
I have to have my handy dandy calculator. So those of you at home, go back and review your answers and see what you came up with and how you did.